So what I'm going to do now is just copy the question that we need to discuss under DOM. What actually matters in this question is the actual DOM and how to create XML using DOM, right? And I'm sure you guys are going through these questions. You're a little bit behind, but let's try and move faster because we don't have much time. Okay, so it says extend the solution in question 1 to add another class named registration list writer that produces an XML formatted registration list using DOM as follows. So whenever we talk about XML, it's a format for representing data among other formats, but we only talk about XML. And in the broader context, you must be able to read XML. You must also be able to write XML. In this case, we are writing XML. So we need to produce XML that looks like this using DOM as our method of writing XML. Now, quickly, because I know you've got other reference videos that you can use to understand DOM, I don't want to re-explain too much because it's the same concept. Now, XML is a hierarchical data structure, which means that there's a parent-child relationship that happens with your data. So if we observe this here, we can see that a registration list. Okay, before I go there, XML is also made up of tags. So you open and you close your tags, and everything that's a child of that tag goes in between. So if I use different colors, we open a registration list here, and then we close it here. So the syntax of closing it is this forward slash. So you only see that in the closing tags. So everything in between the green is a child of registration list. Now, registration list is made up of registrations. So you see that we open a registration here, and we close it here. And these dots that you see means that we can have another registration here, another one here, and many of them. But they will all look like this one, so they only give you one. So inside registration list, you can have many registrations. Each registration is made up of an attendee, which we open here, and we close. There's a missing tag here that closes that, which should be like this, attendee, like this. So we then close it there, right? So I was saying that within a registration list, you've got registrations. So here's a registration. You open it here, you close it here. Within it, and you can have many registrations, only that they give you one here because they all look like this. Within a registration, you've got an attendee, which we open here and we close here. Unfortunately, there's a missing tag here. Oh, sorry, actually it's there. I didn't see it. All right, sorry, my mistake. We open it there and we close it here, right? Then we also have a booking date within a registration, which we open here and we close there. And we also have a registration fee, which we open here and we close there. So within a registration, we've got an attendee, and within an attendee, I think you are getting the picture of how this works. Within an attendee, you've got a name and an affiliation and an email. So all items under the same level are called siblings, which means these are all at the same hierarchy. This attendee here, this booking list, this registration fee, that's all one level. Within an attendee, you've got name, affiliation, email, that's one level. Within a registration, you've got many registrations, that's also one level. So it's hierarchical, which means one item is within another item. So that's one of the most important things to building XML with DOM. You have to understand the hierarchy because that's what you use to build that XML. So you've got to understand that, okay, this is a parent of that, this is a parent of that, this one, or this is a child of that, this one is a child of that. So in other words, we are saying that, we are saying that a registration, all registrations are children of registration list. Attendee, child of registration. Booking date, child of registration. Registration fee, child of registration. name, child of attendee, affiliation, child of attendee, email, child of attendee. And all this XML should have like one tag which contains everything that's referred to as the root tag. And in this case, our root tag is this one here because that's the one that contains everything. It's not a child of anything. That's our parent or our root tag. Everything goes in between this tag, which is registration list. That's basically how you build your XML. Now, for you to start building XML, let's go to our solution um, and see the classes that we have, right? So in our solution, we want to build XML that is made up of registrations, which means registration list is our go-to guy because we need to be able to build because remember our XML is a list of registrations. So we are interested in this. This is what we need to convert to an XML. So we have to go through all these registrations. Within each registration, we have to go and get the attendee, and within the attendee, get the name, the affiliation. So we've got to be able to get all these values from our registrations in the queue list. Now, as a design principle, which is something we are going to talk about a bit later, whenever you want to serialize something to XML or write something to a file, you have to create a class that does that. It's part of what is referred to as the serializer design pattern, which means in this case, you have to introduce a class that we can call, for example, XML writer, for example, uh, whose job is to actually create that XML, right? And then you go, yeah, next, finish. Now, this is important. It's part of good design principles. Now, your class, XML writer, the job of this class is to create XML for us. What we do with it, that's another story. But all we care about is we need this class to be able to create XML. Now, you can, for example, create a function here that returns the XML. And you can call this function, for example, serialize, right? And this function is going to receive a list of registrations and produce XML for us because at the end of the day, XML is text. So we can then say it's going to receive registrations, right? So let's go hash include, let me just say here, registration list, for example. Let me just leave it like that for now. Now we can say, let's give this class a queue list of type registration pointers. And this function is going to go through all these registrations and produce our XML, right? What are they saying here? Okay, just apply the fix for me. I don't know, whatever this is saying. Okay. Or we can just go, let's see, plus registration list. Let's leave it like that. Sorry, let me just ask include registration here. Sorry. Include registration.h. Okay, like that. Perfect. Let's also include to list for now. Now let's go to the implementation of this function. So the job is to actually loop through these registrations and create XML. Now to write XML, we need to use DOM, right? So when using DOM, you are going to use the QDOM document class. So, sorry. So if we go to the QDOM document class, let's just Google it quickly. We go here. It will tell you that for you to use this class under CMake, you have to make this change, right? So you have to go under find package, Qt6 required components and add XML, right? So if you go to your CMake file, you're going to see this find package line. So that means if I go here in my CMake file here, there should be like a find package. There you go, this one. So I just need to add XML here, like that. right? Let's go back to our browser. They also say go to target link and add this one here. Cute.
I'm getting lost. How was this find package added today? Was it by default or?
You just have to go here to this file and you find where it says find package and you add XML.
Oh, I'll just find it here. Okay,
It's
and add
there.
XML.
Yeah. Now
Okay.
I'm looking for target link. I'm looking for this one that says target link libraries. So it should be there. Let's just see if we can find it somewhere. There you go, target link libraries. And I'm simply going to add this. Is it happy? Is it happy? No, it's not happy. Why? Let's see. Target link libraries, private, cute XML. Let's see why it's not happy. Ah, is it something? Yeah, it's here. Private. Okay, let me put this um here. Oh, okay, it does it like this. Let's see if I can do it like this as well. Copy, paste, um, XML. Okay, it's not liking that. Uh, okay, it's fine. I think, okay, let's exclude it for now. See if maybe we don't need to edit. Probably, I'm not sure. What if I go XML here? Is it happy? Just want to see if that's, oh, that doesn't. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't like that. Let me go back to the browser. Yeah, it says I should do it, but it's fine. Let's leave it like that. See if we can actually do a hash include QDOM document, because that's how you know. Without it, you cannot. So if I go back to my registration list, let's see if I can now hash include QDOM document. No, I cannot because, yeah, I have to edit somewhere. Let's go back here, see why that's complaining. Target link libraries. Is there anything else that I'm missing here? Um, Widgets, XML. That's what they have here. Qt 6. Okay, let's go Qt 6. Let me just copy the whole thing. Qt 6. That's the required components, XML. That's fine. Find package. Let's go here again. XML, see what that does. Okay, that's happy. Let's check again here. Um, Still not happy. Okay, let's go back. Else Android. Okay, that's fine. Else if target link libraries. Is there anything else here? Oh, that's the one. It should be here. I don't know why it's not liking XML. Qt 6. Um, XML. Okay, now it's happy. Okay, perfect. I think I can just do it like this. This one says just take the major version and put XML at the end. So you can try doing it like that. It should be happy now. Okay, that's fine. Now it's all green, happy, perfect. So I think it's because I had not put XML here as well, probably. So those are the changes you make. And then if you go back here, now it should be able to find QDOM document. Perfect. That means we can now use it. Now, building XML with DOM requires you to build the hierarchy, right? And I'm going to show you a very easy way of doing it. Let me, to make it simpler, go to my registration list, to my XML writer, sorry, and let's go to this function. Now we can agree that we are going to need to define the document, right? So let's go qdom document doc, for example. That's our document, right? Um, Where did I put it? Oh, sorry, wrong class. It should be here. Not in registration list. Sorry, I didn't see that. Okay, perfect. Now we can go to our to our writer. So we've got the document. Now we can agree from our XML that the root tag is just a root tag. It's always there. This one. So let's create this one first, right? Registration list like this. So I can just say, here's my document. Let me create my root tag. Now, every tag or element is represented by the class QDOM element. So I can call this one root, right? Which is representing my root tag. And I can say equals doc.create element, and then I give it the name. So I can say registration list. Now, this create element function is the one that creates the element or the tag for us in the actual XML. So in other words, this part here is going to do this part here. Sorry, it's going to do this part. So you can say this is done, right? The registration list is done. Now the next thing we have to do
just the root, ne?
Just the root. The root is done. We've done it, right? What you put in create element is what you see here, registration list. So that the root is done. Now let's do registration. Now registration, these are many. It's many of them. So where do we get these registrations? We have to go and loop the list. And when we loop the list, we have to add every registration to this root tag here, right? Every registration must be added here. So what we can do in our code is we can say, oh, let's go through all registrations. So I can go for each registration reg inside my list, right? I need to define a registration tag for each registration, right? So I can go QDOM element, let's say reg element equals doc.create element, and the element is called registration, like that. Now we've created the registration element. But we know that every registration element is going to be a child of registration list. So you have to specify that. So I can say now my registration, my reg element is a child of root. So you go root.append child reg element, like that. So this way I'm saying this goes under root, right? Then you also have to specify the type of the registration. This is referred to as an attribute. An attribute is extra information which is within your element, but not a child, like directly in the element. So here, we've got an attribute called type, and its name or value is the class. This is the same problem that we solved last time with reflection. You have to solve this problem here again with reflection. Same code, those 2 lines of code. So you have to put your type here. But how do you, let's say, how do you do an attribute? You then have to say reg element dot set attribute. Then you say the name of the attribute is type, and then here you put the value class name or type. So here you have to use reflection to get this. This is the name of the class, which is the same code we used before. So you can have your QString defined here somewhere. So you can have QString class name equals that, and then you use your reflection, you provide your class name. When you get here, oh, I did something that I shouldn't have done. Okay, come back here. When you get here, you simply put your class name here. When we do this, we have done everything that is required under registration. We have done the registration tag. This is done. We have put the attribute, and we have made registration a child of registration list. Now remember, this is in a loop. So we only do it for this one registration here. And this loop will do it for all the other registrations because it's in a loop. So you only do it once. Now, inside registration, we've got an attendee. That's the next thing we need to do. So let's go within a registration. We need an attendee. So we can then make another tag here, and we say qdom element. Sorry, qdom element attendee element equals doc dot create element attendee, like that, right? This attendee is a child of the registration element, right? As we can see here, it's a child of registration, right? So we can go back and say, well, reg element dot append child your attendee element. That's how you make it a child. Once we've done this, we've got our attendee element, it's a child of registration. We can now say, yeah, that part is done. So we can say this we have done. Now, inside an attendee, we've got name, affiliation, and email of the person. So we have to go and create these three now. All three are children of the attendee element. It's just a hierarchy. That's all you're doing. So you can go back here and say, okay, now let's get the name, email, and affiliation of the person. Where do we get the person? From the registration, right? Do we have a get person in registration? We have get attendee. There we go. So we can get our person like that. So we can go back here and go person equals person P equals registration dot get, sorry, it's reg dot get attendee. There we go. That's our function, right? I'm just using this function here to get the person. Now, once we've got the person, we want the name, email, affiliation. So I can make another tag for the name. The tag for the name is this one here. It's called name. And it's a child of attendee, right? So I can simply go qdom element, name element equals doc.create element name, like that. This is a child of attendee element. So we go attendee element dot append child. The child is name element, like that. So now it's a child. So we can comfortably say we are happy here. The name is done, this part here. Now we need the actual name, which is this part here that I'm underlining, right? The name is done. The actual name, which is what goes in here, right, is also another element. And this one is called a text element, this one here, because it goes in between a text. So that's a text element. And this is the actual name now. So your text element, which is what goes here, should also be created separately, and you make it a child of your name element, right? So the actual text is a child of the name element. How do you do the actual text? You go qdom text, name text, for example, equals doc.create text node. That's now different because we are now creating actual text, which goes in between a tag. So you use the create text node function. Okay, so what is the value? The value is p dot get name, the name of the person, right? And this text node must become a child of the name element. So you go name element dot append child name text. You do this again for affiliation. Affiliation is a child of attendee. Inside affiliation, you've got the actual affiliation, which becomes a child of affiliation. So you can see these are all the functions I'm just repeating now. So, okay, let's do the affiliation element. So I go qdom element, affiliation element equals doc.create element, affiliation, like that. This becomes a child of your attendee element. Just like the name element. So it's the same thing here, only that this is the affiliation element, right? Inside your affiliation element, you've got the actual text. So I can go qdom text, af text equals doc.create text node, p.get affiliation, and this af text becomes a child of affiliation element. So I can go affiliation, sorry, element dot append child af text, like that. Then you do email. Exactly the same thing, right? Same as name and affiliation. That's all you're doing. So now we can say we have done affiliation. We've done the we've done affiliation. We've done the text. As you can see, I'm not ticking the closing tags. Those ones are not important. Just the opening tags and their values and so on and so on and so on. Now, let's say we've also done email. So that means email is done and email is done. Though I have not done it. Then we are done with attendee. Then we go to booking date. Booking date is a child of a registration, because remember, within a registration, we have an attendee, which we've just done now.
So you're saying that the closing element is not important for now?
No.
You're not closing it.
No, you don't
Okay.
close it. You don't close anything. You just focus on the elements in their hierarchy. That's all. So I've done registration.
Okay.
Within registration, I've done attendee. Within attendee, I've done name, affiliation, email. Perfect. Now I go to booking date. Booking date is a child of registration. And then registration fee is a child of registration. So you keep on going like that. I don't think I've got a booking date in my registration here. We had not done it. I've got it. Okay, perfect. So that means I can go now do booking date. So I go qdom element, booking. I just want to go d element equals doc.create element. I'm just repeating myself. It's called booking date. Booking date is a child of your registration. So reg element dot append child d element. There we go. Like that. So now I have done my booking date and it's a child of my registration. So that's done. Then I do the actual text that is within a booking date, which then becomes a child of booking date. So again, same thing. I can then go date qdom text d text equals doc dot create text node. Our date is going to be reg dot get booking date dot to string. That's my date, which becomes a child of my date element. So I can go d element dot append child my text. The same thing you do for registration fee. Do the same for registration fee. Sorry. Fee. Hey, why do I keep typing free? Okay, perfect. So that's how you build your XML. Now we can say, well, we've also done booking date, we've done the text, and you're going to do the registration fee and the text as well, and you're done. Everything now has been written. I haven't left anything, right? Now, because this is going to happen in a loop, your DOM is going to do this over and over again, assigning the hierarchy. It's going to follow this logic and build the XML for you. When the loop is done and your code gets here, that means your doc is now your full XML. Everything has been added, all registrations, the hierarchy is correct. So all you do is you then simply return doc dot to string. This then takes all that XML and converts it to a string. It will close all those tags for you. It will make for you nice XML. That's it. That's how you use DOM to create XML. Now we can go and use this function in our user interface, which means the button that says create XML should call this function. But in terms of the actual logic and how to create XML, that's how you do it. So remember, you've got a user interface, which I haven't done here for myself. But in your user interface, you've got a button that says make XML. In your button, what you're going to do is you're going to get this registration list and use that to call this function, which then means in registration list, you need a function to return that list. So you can go queue list registration get list, which is going to return this list here. So I can just go here and go return the list like that. So if I want to create XML, I'm going to call this function in my registration list to give me the list. Then I take this list, I call this function, which then creates the actual XML and returns it as a string. And then once I've got the XML, I can do whatever I need to do with it. The question simply says, extend your solution to add another class named, oh, sorry, I didn't see that. Please use the right class. It says registration list writer that produces an XML formatted registration list using DOM as follows. So this is the class that we were doing. We just need to go and rename it to follow the name that was recommended for us here. Otherwise, yeah, that's how you do your XML.